A Greek philosopher once mentioned, change is the only constant. My friends, changes are happening all around us, whether we like it or we don't, whether we participate in it or we don't. Did you know that our planet Earth has faced 5 mass extinctions where we lost majority of the living creatures we had? Humans, however, survived all of these because of our ability to adapt to the changing environment. Today, in the professional life as business owners or as professionals working for a company, there are lots of changes triggered by competition in the market, triggered by new people entering, triggered by our internal performance, triggered by demand in the market, triggered by our aspirations and goals. We know that we can survive extinctions as a species, yet changes during our professional work life becomes very difficult. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 ways in which you could manage change with ease. My name is Hardik Harsora and I am your management consultant helping you learn and propel your business. Keep watching. Welcome back. Every successful company has been successful because it has changed with time. The ones that have not have had a very difficult time. Today we are going to be talking about 5 ways in which you could manage the change with ease. Let's get going. Number 1, just in time change. Do you know that our brain is wired for survival, which means it protects us from uncertain events? And this simply because we don't know what is going to happen in an uncertain event. That's why it's called uncertain, right? Now, while it protects us from uncertain event, change is what presents us exactly that. We don't know if the change is going to work unless it actually does. Today's leaders and SMEs and professionals like yourself should make sure that you don't delay the decision of changing things in your professional life. Because if you don't change on time, you probably will be forced to change during crisis. Now, there is a special feature that crisis has, that is lack of time. Do you know that resistance increases with the size of change and the time at hand? More the time, lesser the change, resistance will be less. But if the otherwise is true, resistance is going to be very, very high. So if you try and make change happen very late during the crisis timing, it's only going to make it difficult. So if you see things happening not right, make change happen just right there, just in time. Point number 2, bite-sized changes. Have you ever experienced that failed gymming routine? Well, I have. I have been that person that promises myself every single day that I'm going to go to the gym. And the next day morning when I get up, I give myself all kind of stupid excuses. It could be as stupid as, I'm not finding my gym shoes, and then I go back to sleep. I came across a book by Mel Robbins. It's called The 5 Seconds Rule. She says in this book that you should break your entire promise into smaller chunks and just count 5 in the reverse. So you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and start that first step of the big promise that you mentioned to yourself. I started doing that. So I would just tell myself, hey, you know what? I don't want to go to the gym in the morning. I would just get up on my feet. I would go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up on my feet. Then I would say, okay, you know what? Let me just pack the bag and that's about it. I'm going to go to sleep. I would do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pack my gym bag and that's it. And then I would promise myself, let's just go downstairs and then I will come back again. Let's just go to the gym and I will come back again. And let's just do one exercise and come back again. Let's just do that one set and come back again. And I realized that I was able to complete everything that I promised myself on the gym. I was 2.5 years back something like this. And today I am like this. This transformation happened simply because I adopted bite-sized changes. The moment you tell yourself that the change is very big, again, like I said, the bigger the size of the change, the more the resistance, because our brain is wired to protect us from uncertain events. So bite-sized changes is what makes your change implementation smoother. Point number 3, reasons. We are all people full of reasons. Sometimes those reasons become excuses to not do certain things, and sometimes those reasons become motivation to go about doing certain things. I have come across many meetings where change is communicated and the reason is articulated somewhat like this. You know what, guys? We got to change so and so in our company, because if you start working on these things, the company is going to grow. Now, while these reasons sound very good to you as an entrepreneur, they don't really click very well with employees. Employees' priorities are slightly different, in fact, very, very different from your priorities as an entrepreneur. And this is always going to be the change. You got to be able to communicate a reason that resonates with your employees and therefore becomes a reason for them to be motivated for the change that you want to bring about. The reasons could be very, very simple. The reasons could be increment. The reasons could be promotion. The reason could be incentives. The reason could simply be becoming the star of the month employee. As long as you give reasons which resonate with people who are supposed to go through a change, the change is going to become easy. Point number 4, proof of possibility. Sometimes people resist change simply because they do not agree that the approach that was recommended in the change will get them to their goal. And therefore, it's extremely important to show them the proof that it is possible to get results. Very recently, one of my consultants, one of my clients, were trying to together implement a change in the company, and the change was they were trying to implement MOQs in the sales process. MOQ means minimum order quantity. They wanted their salespeople to take a minimum order of a particular size. If the client is wanting to take an X number of pieces, but the MOQ suggests X plus 2, they wanted the sales guys to push them to buy those 2 extra pairs of whatever the product was. Now, when this was being communicated, people had their resistance on the client wouldn't buy it, etc., etc. The consultant and the client both together had to go to the customer and attempt to do this in their own ways. All that they had to say to the client is that if you buy 5 instead of 2, 5 was the MOQ, you would be able to receive the delivery much faster because my operations can manufacture 5 very quickly. If you order only for 3, then I will wait until I get 2 more orders to start manufacturing. So help me help you better. Would you like to have a 5 ordered instead of a 3? And the client happily agreed. Now this, when showcased to the salespeople, they agreed. Sometimes for making the change happen, you got to do the change and show it as a proof of possibility. 5th point, involvement. Sometimes people will come up with all kinds of things to you simply to dodge the change. You know what? Change cannot be implemented just by communicating and then following it up. Change requires change while implementation, which means you got to be constantly fine-tuning the change that you are trying to implement. Now, during fine-tuning, it's extremely important to weed out the nonsense from the real feedback that you must incorporate and make the change happen again, or fine-tuning happen again to the original change. Like I mentioned, people are going to come to you with all kinds of things. They are going to come with you with changes, recommending changes that are extremely tough and very long to implement. Maybe those changes are not even required, but they will tell you if those changes are not done, the change that you've communicated cannot be done. Very simply put, sometimes a lot of people who we give softwares to come back to us and say, hey, you know what, this software must have this column, this feature, this thing also, because otherwise things will not happen. The change that you want people to make, which is, start using the software. Now, these are not always relevant. A lot of times there are workarounds there which you can adopt but get people on the software. They would not do that. So you should have a team which is involved in making the change happen. Now, what is this team? You should have members from the team that is getting the change, which means, assuming a software is being implemented in the sales department, then it is the sales department that is undergoing the change. You should have somebody from the sales department, therefore, in this change team. The second person that you should have is the people who are going to benefit out of this change. So let's say if the sales department gets onto the software, the production team will be able to forecast what leads are going to come to them and therefore plan their production. Now, because the production team is going to benefit out of the sales guys going into the software, you should also have somebody from the benefiting team on the change team. The third person that you must have in your change team is the person who's actually making the change happen, which is your software development team. All three of these people can, with you of course, can together decide what feedback during the change can be used to change further, fine tune further, and what is nonsense and should be weeded out, should be avoided. If you like this video, hit a thumbs up. If you want me to give you a little more detail about any of these 5 points, mention in the comments and I'll be very happy to reply. Do share this video with your friends who are into business, who can take advantage of the content that we are producing. And if you've not subscribed to this channel yet, please do consider to subscribe, and do not forget to hit the notification, the bell icon there when you subscribe. That is the way you will be notified every time I put up a new video and you get an opportunity to learn, watch and propel. Keep propelling.